Cheers, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the Monday edition, caffeinated, of Reaper Pro Tips. Not coffee, sorry, Crowley. With me, your host, Anne, disembodied hands, Quindy, disembodied beard, John, disembodied everything, Justin, and Kiki, who's complaining, rightfully so, because it's freaking hot in this house already. In fact, I'm going to close my window. But do I want to close it? Yeah, it's like back and forth. Like, do I really want to close the window? Is it going to make it worse? I don't know. Anyway, we had I suspect the hurricane just pushed a bunch of air as it, was coming along. And we were supposed to be like 82 yesterday. It ended up being 92. So the house did not cool down overnight. So we are pretty warm. So if you notice me sweating, that's why. Very uncomfortable today. And I don't want to use a fan because it's going to be a lot of white noise on the mic and everything. So yeah, going to get gross this week. Yeah. We actually did set up we have a little, just single room air conditioner, freestanding air conditioner. We did set that up in the bedroom last night. So otherwise sleeping was out of the question. The house was still 80 degrees last night. Even after dark, even at 11 p.m., it was still 80 inside. We had everything propped open and the fans going, but it just didn't cool down outside. So yeah, pretty ugly. And Crowley, I saw that 44 months sneaking in there before I even get my face on the screen. Thank you. We really appreciate it. You're melting, yeah. Yeah, Agent Marble, I feel it. Ugh. Well, I don't know that I have a quiet fan is the problem. I need a mini fan. I need one of those tiny little fans that I can just at least my face is like far enough away on the little cam that you guys can stare at Angry Link instead of me. Milwaukee Irish Fest. I wondered where you were, Turgeon. Oh yeah. Yeah, I wondered where you were. You should check your email if you didn't see my email. I can't talk about what I emailed you about on stream, but I emailed. But anyway, yeah, Irish Fest, Milwaukee Irish Fest always is. I remember. I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin, so I know what the Milwaukee Irish Fest is. Big Irish community, and I'm sitting here slurping down my tea and wishing it was iced. Yeah, it was so funny. It had been, the air conditioner hadn't come out since Kiki was a baby. And she didn't remember it, so she was totally giving it the side eye and like, what's that thing and what's it doing? Lots of drinking for sure, Agent Marble. Air compressor noises every few seconds. All right, well let me go run, get the fan from the bedroom then. 1 second. I'm gonna grab it. Come on, Papa. Actually, you know what, Papa? Maybe I can steal Daddy's fan. He's not using it. Suffering, Papa. Yep. Yeah, Mommy will suffer a little bit anyway, but we'll see what I can do and keep it on the lowest setting. And if it's terrible, then I can lump it. The problem is the humidity. It's been between 50 and 60 humidity, so when you get 92 with that kind of crap, then you're like, oof. All right, let's turn this on, Papa, and see if it's going to be too bad. Papa's like, what are you doing? Let me see. Can I feel it? Need to angle it a little more. No. That feels like it might be decent, Papa. I'm going to move that. Okay. Oh, airflow is important. Yeah, right. That's right, GB, exactly. Steal the partner's things when they're not looking. Hey, Slayer. Yeah, so there's a little white noise in the background because I had to set up a fan because I'm... Oh, you want to say hi, Keeks? Hold on, Keeks. I'll give you the podium. Keeks, come here. Podium. Good girl. Kiki says, hi. I'm going to get my tea if you're going to be there. Yeah. Oh, look up at that. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Yes, the face. There's the face. I'll take advantage of Kiki running the show, but to drink the rest of my tea. Yeah, the Keekster. She has no idea what adventure she's in for next weekend. Oh, Papa, and it's going to be so... The nice thing is that the towns, except for Barstow, which is going to be warm, but at least Flagstaff is cooler. It's only supposed to be upper 70s. So at least on the road we get some cooler weather before we hit the horrible Texas. Kodiak, It's not stealing, it's borrowing, temporarily borrowing. Until the other person is like, where's my blah? And I were like, I just borrowed it and didn't return it, which is totally stealing. Good deal. Yeah, that's why I grabbed the one from the hobby room, because it's older, so it's not as robust. Which in this case is actually a plus. Alright. Oh, my lordy sakes alive, you guys. I'm just buried under all the crap I've got to get done this week. Insanity. Insanity. I hope y'all are doing good. Did you have a fun weekend? I worked all weekend. I worked on the book all weekend. The book. Everything is on track. All of my plans are on track. There. Hi, Keeks. You want to lie right here because the air is nice? But you have a fan out in the other room. Alright, as long as you're not, like, all in the way, Papa. You can stay here. What are we going to do on Link today? Oh, God, don't even... ReaperCon is, like, the last thing on my list this week. And I'm leaving Sunday. Oh, did you get him? Good, Zachariah, good. Yeah, I wondered about your diorama. Oh, no. Senile cat is senile. That happens. Sorry, Chibi. It's so stressful when that happens. I've had a senior cat that did that. Yeah, making a punch list is good, Zachariah. So you have the list so you don't forget anything. On big projects, I always forget something if I don't make a list. But yeah, I am not prepared for ReaperCon. Like, so much, guys. So much has to get done before that. Because I still have Patreon crap to finish. And I mostly got my $10 PDF done, but I have painting to do for it, so I have to sit down and do that today. Oh, carpet cleaner. Is that why we have you today, Chibi? Because you have to be there for the carpet cleaner? Oh, you're going to be there, Slayer? Awesome. Super fantastic. I will be there with bells on. Alrighty. Yeah. Sweet. Alright, I'm actually liking. He's almost done. Like, he's so close. Look at him. We just have to figure out the shield and the sword. And then finish the gold up, of course. The gold's always the last, the bling thing. Well, and I didn't really highlight the greens or anything. But I wanted to get the shield in shape before we did that. Let's see here. I think I was thinking about, like, purple up top. The tree's going to be gold. Let's go over the top of the tree and block that in gold. Maybe we'll actually work on the gold all over him today if I can get that in. And then the tree won't look as much like Mothman once I get the inside done. Hey, SJ, what's up? Oh, yeah, fans. Lots of fans. I love fans, too, Twisted Oma. Yes, the Mothman tree will look a lot less like Mothman soon. That's funny. Dear me. And I have to remember to mail my niece's birthday card, which I did buy her a nice birthday card and a gift card. She's in college now, so I can't assume she has money, so it's a $50 Amazon gift card this time. I figure I'll stop sending her money when she's 21, but you just never know, right? You just never know. She could be a super responsible financially kid, or she could be a wreck like I was. I don't want to ask. I just want to assume that somebody can always use $50 from Amazon. That's my assumption. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to do 4-to-1 with this white because of all these tiny little areas. If I can get away with it, it might not be thin enough to get me the filigree that I need, but if it is, I want it to cover pretty well. Oh, time to relax. Good. Yeah, I can pat myself on the back and consider myself a genius for deciding not to teach at ReaperCon this year. Yes. Such a good decision, because I'm still judging, and I'm still probably doing the award ceremony. So I've still got work to do at the con, and I've got to juggle my dog 2 days out of that. You know, because I'm going to be the one with the Kiki attached to me, and we're already assuming that ReaperCon is going to bar Kiki from ever attending again. Oh yeah. See, I love the fan. I like having the white noise is the thing. I don't always want the air movement directly on me, but I like the white noise. I even bring my little white noise machine when I go to hotels, although this time we're bringing a fan. An actual fan. Because you know what? We've got a small one for the bedroom. And David doesn't care if that one, like, he doesn't use it. I do. So, that way Kiki... The nice thing is it'll be more noise so that Kiki can't hear things outside of the hotel room and bark at them. Alright, if you still like getting Amazon gift certificates, well, and Lauren is kind of cool, like my niece. She's a jock. She has a sports scholarship to Findlay. But, she, for a hobby, she does custom sneakers. So she buys shoes and she'll paint on them and, you know, stick things to them and make really cool, she's really good at it, actually. It's her side hustle. She makes money by doing custom sneakers for people, and she's always wearing one. Like, she's got a bunch. So anything that lets her buy a new pair of shoes to customize is like that's, I figure she'll always like that, as long as she keeps that as her side hustle. So she has an artsy side and she's side hustling with it. I approve, totally. Yeah, even out of college, right? Yeah, because you can buy anything with it. That's the thing, right? If you really need just sundries and normal stuff, you can buy it. Or if you are in the mood for a treat and you're not hard up, you can buy a treat. But it is an awesome side hustle, yeah. I should ask her. She did a dragon one a while ago. She sent me a picture of. We'll stand up for Kiki to keep it empty. You say that now, Twisted Oma. Before the catastrophe hits you all. Oh my god. She could probably use another year of maturity before she, like, totally rampages around ReaperCon, but oh well, we're just gonna go for it. Y'all said you wanted Kiki, so we're gonna have Kiki. And now I'm gonna find out, by the way, where I have to touch this up. So we can see around the little antenna is perfect. Can you see that? It's like all outlined, but over here I blorfed a bit. So I'm going to get my brown liner out. Hello, Dogfather. We were just talking about ReaperCon totally like refusing to let us attend ever again because we're bringing Kiki this year and she's going to destroy everything. So when you meet Kiki, guys, remember... Don't reach for her, let her come to you. She's one of those dogs. If you want her to approach more readily, you can sit down on the floor. Then you might get licked and perhaps pounced on, eventually. But oh, we don't have anything, Dogfather. No, we actually talked about that on Friday a little bit. But it all hit LA. And essentially it hit LA, which is, if you look at California, like California goes out, right? So LA's down here, and San Francisco's actually west and north, way up here. So the storm actually went like, hit LA, and then it went inward. So it went up into Nevada, and drenched a bunch of SoCal and Nevada. Yeah, Kiki the Destroyer for sure. So what we got was a heat wave, because I assume because of just displaced air and a high pressure system must have gotten stuck over us. Hurricane Kiki hits Denton, Texas, destroys hotel, film at 11. Yes. I'm going to text that one to David, Dogfather. Yeah, we're talking about you. We're talking about you, Fuzzy Dog. She's going to get a bath and a big brush out. She's blowing coat. She's right at the end of it, thank God. So one more bath and a thorough brushing should get all the undercoat, most of the undercoat out. It's funny, Dogfather, because she hasn't shed, like, you guys, Kiki, up to now, maybe it's the wavy coat that she's got, but we went almost completely shed-free on this dog up till 1 month ago. And then she exploded. Did you explode? You exploded, huh? Oh, you want to stand here. She's standing here in the fan. You're blocking my fan, you dingo. All right, yes, we've got to keep Kiki from getting the Infinity Stones for sure. That would be bad news. But yeah, we were shed free, and then suddenly she was blowing coat as bad as any Shiloh I've ever owned. And this is why I prefer like the smoothies rather than the plushes, because the plushes you've got to brush them daily during blow coat time. Like the smooths, they just shed effortlessly. You could just, the fur, it will come out. It will not be like, it'll be kind of terrifying, but it won't be quite that bad. But the plush, you've got to brush them to get that undercoat out, or they will mat during that blowing coat season, which is usually twice a year. Yeah, it was like a poof shed explosion. I'm sure you've experienced that with at least one dog in your life. Yeah. It was crazy. Alright, so let's correct this little antennae. I may have thinned my brown liner a little much, but we'll find out. So I didn't get around the top of it, essentially. Yeah, I need just a little bit darker. Where's my... there. Oh, come on, walnut. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Huskies are insane. Huskies are like, you brush your dog and you have enough fur to build another dog. Like, that, they're legendary. Like, even more than Shilohs. I mean, Shilohs do not have, like, the rough collie coat. And they don't have that super thick, plushy husky coat, either. They're just, like, kind of a medium coat dog. And they still have some heroic shedding moments, but nothing beats the Huskies. Nothing. They are a legend. Hi there, Keeks. She is. She's just standing right here. Both to get pettins, to totally try to get automatic pettins from Mommy, and also because the fan is here. That's so funny. But yeah, the Huskies are insane. Like, I would never... There are many reasons I would not own a Husky. Especially not since this one's energy is enough for me. Yeah, Husky would be even higher energy. You would love it, Papa. You would have somebody to play with. You would have someone to play with all the time, just like you like to. She doesn't stop playing. Yeah, good girl. Yes, I love you, Papa. Alright, now you gotta let me paint, though. The problem with Papas coming up to Mama is that the auto pet function activates in my brain. The Papa is here, I must pet it. And then I stop painting. Half an acre with enough hair, yeah. Yo-ya, Yeah, there are videos. If you doubt it, guys, go on YouTube and look up husky shedding. You will be astounded. You will wonder why anybody owns these dogs. I mean, they're beautiful and all, but the meanest thing you can do to a groomer is take your husky in, like, when they're in full-blown shedding season. Because the inside of the grooming facility will be, like, just hair at the end of the blowout. One of my friends does that with her Shiloh. One of my breeder friends does that with her Shilohs. They're like, yeah, she's later on in her shedding cycle. I'm taking her to the groomer. That way the hair gets all over the groomer's facility instead of her house. I'm like, you're mean to your groomer. Kiki doesn't have a groomer yet. I did call one that's local, that's here in Mountain View, but I just don't think I'm going to have time to actually juggle her and get her in this week. I thought about it. There, alright. Sometimes you have to, with really fine stuff like this, guys, sometimes you have to go back and forth a couple times just to get it. Yeah, but... Yeah, exactly. They're cute dogs with great personalities, but honestly, you could get a cute dog with a great personality that wasn't ultra high energy, loved to roam and to jump fences, pees everywhere as a puppy, has no pee, like, control impulse, and sheds like a demon. Wait, there's only 4. What's the 5th? Oh, possibly independent and hard to train because they're sled dogs. They need to be independent. But yeah, that's the one thing I remember. Very briefly during college, I worked for a local pet store who was a dog breeder, was the owner, and she sold supplies and stuff and also had puppies from time to time. And I just remember the husky puppies, just like, they would drink all of their water and then they would just let it go. Really, oh, and woo-woos. Yep, the woo-woos. But you know what? If you're not in an apartment, the woo-woos are actually kind of cute. I like Malamutes woo-woo, too. That's where some of our Shilohs actually have that, because we've got a little tiny bit of Malamute in us from way, way, way back. So there were Shilohs that were closer to that Malamute line used to do the woo-woo. We are discussing the detriments and how the detriments of owning a Husky outweigh the advantages. But they are beautiful. And we've got 2 in our neighborhood that are gorgeous dogs. And I always see one of them walking when I'm out for my walk in the evening. Even last night when it was just insufferably hot. Poor thing. There was a breeder, there must have been a Husky breeder in Denton too, because I would always see their dogs at the dog park. They're always beautiful Huskies. But I can't imagine being a Husky breeder in Texas. Okay, so yeah, a little bit out. But you can see how it's very hard to get the tracery. But just having that little outline on the design is going to help so much when I start doing the NMM. Malamutes are awesome, except that, hey, HM, you're back! Yay! 43 months, thank you for the resub. The only thing about Malamutes is that they are rather bullheaded. And, I had a breeder once tell me that, you know, having, like, when her males would just get going in the backyard, she's just like, it's like having a house full of frat boys who don't really give a crap. They don't want to listen to you. They just want to do their thing, which is not good for your things. So, but some Malamutes are real lovey-dovey too, so yeah, it depends, Even though that you can make generalizations about breeds, because the genetics are usually pretty similar between individuals, there's still a lot of variance in temperament in most purebred dogs. We get our there we go. Ooh. I'm just using the very side of my brush to get these little filigree bits. And trying to keep that line around them mostly at all time. It's both, Satanic Jesus. The best as a dog person, the best analogy or the best way to describe nature versus nurture in dogs that I have yet heard is that the nature part essentially gives your dog from a sliding scale, essentially, okay, for sociability, you've got a sliding scale. Your dog is somewhere along this sliding scale. Then, depending on nurture, depending on whether you socialize a lot or if you don't, your dog can slide one way or the other on that sliding scale. So if your dog is really, really bomb-proof and you socialize them well, you can get to that top of that sliding scale of, like, confidence and stability, right? Whereas if you hadn't socialized that dog, it would still be pretty good. It would just maybe backslide a little bit and not be as confident as it could have been. Or if you start out with a dog that's got a lot of anxiety and nervousness, you can get that dog up to decent. But, you know, if you don't socialize it, it can become a train wreck. So I think the sliding scale is the best way that I've heard that presented as far as nature. Because it's both, right? It's genetics and you certainly can, you know, shore up a low confidence dog and make it into an amazing dog, right? You can just essentially top out that particular slider with your hard work. So I am using my beloved Da Vinci Maestro Kolinsky Sable Series 10, which is their standard round, size 1. Yeah, yep, socialization is very important. I mean, Kiki got decent socialization. Even then, she still... See, okay, so actually Kiki's a really good example. Kiki has never really liked it when strangers reach for her. She's never been into that. She is like, she wants to approach you, and that's the way it is. I socialized her, so now she will go up to people. Absolutely, much better going up to people. And she'll even lick their hand. She still doesn't like it if they reach for her. You know, so if I really worked on it with Kiki, she would tolerate people reaching for her, right? And as she gets older, I expect that she will get better about it, because it's just not going to be anything negative, right? There'll be it'll happen, but it won't be negative, so it'll be okay. But yeah, she's never going to love it, though. She's never going to love having a human reach for her out of the blue. Like, some dogs, they don't. They'll just fall into your lap if you try that. They love it. Yeah, right. Well, because the dog had never learned not to be defensive, right? And probably hadn't had great experiences, so felt like it had to be defensive. So you totally can see why. It's just hard to train at that point. It's hard to train it out. A lot of time and effort on your part. That was my biggest funny when David was, I don't remember what we were working on with Kiki, but he's just like, you know, like, damn, dog training is work. It's like just being consistent and like keeping everything in mind, and like he's just like, it is a work to make a good dog. Right, Papa? Yeah, is it work? Oh, I just plucked your tuft. Yep, I know I got a tuft out of you. I know you want to eat it now, but you can't. Sorry, it's not a snack. It's just a tuft of fur. Yeah, hi. Good girl. Yeah, it can be hard. It can be hard, especially if you have multiple dogs, because then you have to make special time for that one. Sometimes, though, if you've got a confident, happy, older, you know, dog who's more, you know, kind of the pack leader in your house, sometimes that can help. But if the new dog comes in and is the leader, then that could be hard. Then the only thing he can look to is you or she. But yeah. Keekers, you were just trying to like totally trigger the auto pet impulse every time. She's like, hi, I'm here again. Hi, I'm here again. So yeah, so very gently doing all of that scrolly work. And putting down this white is just going to let the gold be a little bit more vibrant. If I put the gold over this walnut or brown line or whatever I used, it's going to be darker, right? And I don't really want that. I just wanted the outline. So block in the body of the tree. Now here's where it's going to get touchy around these roots, because it's hard to get like the liner in there without filling them in. So I don't know how much of those roots we're going to be able to convincingly do. I may have to paint the entire thing. I may have to lose all that white, in short. I'm thinking it probably is. She will not, because like I said, she's like, it depends if she knows you, right? If she knows you, she will walk up and lean on you. And that's a typical Shiloh Shepherd thing, by the way, is the Shiloh lean. So you usually don't get head-butted, but the dog will come stand next to you, and then it will lean on you. And when you're talking an 80 to 100-pound dog, you notice. Yeah. Well, I'm glad Charlie's doing well. Yeah. It's like a hug. It's a doggy hug. So I wasn't sure what was happening there. Yeah, yeah. There's the lean. The lean is part of more than one breed for sure. I like the lean. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when your dogs grow up with you, for sure. And it depends. Like, it really does depend on the dog and the dog's personality as to whether you really need a lot of training or you don't. Like, there are definitely dogs who are easier and dogs that are harder to raise. Just like people, right? You could have the easygoing kid that doesn't need a whole lot from you, and then you can have the kid that's like 24/7. Yeah, yeah. The biggest thing with Keeks is you gotta just let her approach you. So don't crowd her. Just kind of like be there. And she'll get to know you over the days. I'll bring some treats. I'll keep some treats at my table. Everybody else always has candy or chocolate at their artist bench, but I'm gonna have dog treats. Yeah, Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Yep. Staffies. I knew what you meant. Because I grew up at dog shows. It's only the new breeds that I don't know. Or like the PBGB where I just never remember the entire name. And we lost a little bit of our white on the inside of that. I'll have to fix that up. But that's alright. I'll fix that up when I'm highlighting all of this to bring it up to white. But yeah, I didn't get to test my new freezer, my portable freezer yesterday, and so I must do it today because if it doesn't work, I've got to get a new one from Amazon before the trip. So I have to do it today. Because Kiki's food must stay frozen. The freezer just has to, like, work for, like, 6 days. After that, it can conk out if it really wants to, but it needs to work for 6 days. Oh, Aussie Border. Yeah, you would want some training on that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, really, it was fun. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Aussie a little bit, but the Border Collie has that very obsessive, because they need a job, and once they decide they have found their job, they will do it until they drop. It's crazy. So I decided they're too much dog for me. Kiki's on the upper level of needs attention, needs a job. Like, as far as Shilohs go, most Shilohs don't necessarily need a job. They make you their job is essentially what this breed does. Like, I was definitely Kiri's job. She shepherded mommy all of her life. Yeah, some dogs are like that. And Kiki likes getting pettings. She just does not. She's a bit wary of strangers. Once you're not a stranger anymore, then you need to give the pets for sure. The auto pet impulse will be activated. Yeah, this part's a little bit difficult in here. We'll just try to get most of it. Did I drink all my tea? Yeah, I drank all my tea. Good. Yeah, that's what I think. I think mine is also a bodega that I bought just specifically because Kiki's meals need to be kept frozen until 4 days before they're used. Like, they'll stay good for 4 days in the fridge, but up to that point they need to stay frozen. And I could only get a full kitchen my first night on the road. The other days and towns were just too expensive to stay in a home 2 suites or whatever. So I needed the freeze. And it'll be nice to have on the road for sure. So I'm glad I got it. We road tripped enough this year and we'll probably road trip in the future. Farmer's dog, Kodiak. She actually is half kibble, half farmer's dog, because I always want, just in case of emergency, I always want the option to switch her to kibble with, like, a canned topper if I have to. But I prefer to keep her on farmer's dog because she does really well on it. So we do half kibble, half farmer's dog. We do a halvesies. If I could afford full farmer's dog, I might consider it. But again, I like to have that kibble fallback. So I feed her Purina Pro Plan because all of my dogs have done well on Purina Pro Plan. We used to feed, like, Blue Buffalo, and we've tried a bunch of other ones. But their coats are just so nice on the Pro Plan. I haven't gone raw because I looked into raw out here in California. If I'd still been in Texas and gotten Kiki, I would probably have gone raw, because there was a great raw delivery service, a co-op place that would essentially just make it super. It was Oklahoma, North Texas, and Oklahoma, and boy, they were inexpensive, and they would deliver like once a month. You just had to meet them at the pickup zone. They don't have stuff like, or they've got a co-op out here, but you have to grind it all yourself, and the prices are still high because California. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, Twisted Oma. Yeah, corgis are like that. Oh, that's nice. That's good. That you've got a hydrotherapy motivator, Hyper Bunny. That's great. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna block in all these tree roots, guys, because I think I'm gonna use the side of my brush, and I just don't feel like these are so shallow. I'm not gonna be able to get in between all of them. So we're gonna have to make those roots come out with the gold rather than with that white. We're not gonna be able to do it all. They're just too thin. So I'm going to block them all in with my dark color. And then I'll go and bring out the details with the white. But yeah, do some research, Kodiak. Into foods. I know that if you get one from Bridget does do raw, or has done raw in the past. That's what she prefers to do. But she also has been feeding her dogs like kibble here and there. Because of that modulation thing, like where if you're on the road and you don't have access to a food that you need, you can always get kibble usually. So I know she was using ProPlan a little bit when I was there, but she did. Her puppies though are weaned onto raw. So and if you get one of Kiki's puppies, if you were going to wait for an additional time, I will not be weaning onto raw, but I don't know, I'll do some research. I usually do wean onto kibble, and then it's easier for people to adjust at that point. Hey Roger, how's it going? But yeah, we still haven't done Kiki's hips, so like this is still, Kiki breeding is still pending on health testing results, but I'm waiting till she's 2, I think. It's enough of a pain out here to find a pen hip vet to do the hip x-rays that I'm just going to wait and do it once. Like before with my other dogs, I was right near a clinic that did it. And so I could do it, once, and if I wanted the more, mature rating, I could do later. But here, it's proving to be a pain in the butt to find anybody who's really qualified to do hip x-rays. I'm going to have to look at UC Davis, probably. Ah, I blorf. Water. There we go. Yay! Fixed. So now the Mothman tree, is still a Mothman. I thought it was going to be less of a Mothman, but it's still a Mothman. I'm going to make this a little less. It's these antennae. The antennae are doing it. Yeah, the Stellan trees. I use their little raw pellets for treats for Kiki. For things when she really, like, if we have to trade her, like, if she's got something in her mouth that she shouldn't have, I trade her those, because she loves them. So she gets a little bit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've also got Honest Kitchen. Yep. Yeah, feeding is a process with 6 dogs, especially when you've got different ages, and maybe if you run into a dietary allergy, it can be hard, too. Which are not as common, like, environmental allergies seem to be more common than dietary allergies in dogs, but they certainly do exist. Leo had a chicken allergy. But yeah, traveling with the Keeks for 4 days and then 4 days back is going to be quite the adventure, shall we say. She's going to be a really good road dog by the time we're done. Oh, 1 second. I just remembered something else that I have to get. Dramamine, so the puppa is actually okay in the car. Let me just put it on my list really quick. You guys know how it goes. I have to put this like on my list right away or I'm going to forget. The problem with the Dramamine is I need there we go. I think we're good. Cool. Excellent. But if I don't write stuff down right away, it totally goes out of my head by the end of the stream. Alright, now let's go and do our little roots here. These are going to be... I'm going to tilt it so I can really see where the... if you tilt it, you can see where the little holes are. So, once I've got that, I'm just going to start with the center. I have very little paint on my brush. And just go slow. And remember, it's not, don't panic about it. Like, don't freak out about it. Because, you know, you can always take your dark color and just put a little dot wherever those holes are with the roots. Purpose is just to have everything outlined. So those are real rough. Let's trim around them a little bit here. I think I've mostly got it. Need to reinforce my line around the bottom a little bit, but there we are. At least you can see the holes. I'd probably go back and do... Yes, yeah. Yeah, mine all... Kiri was never, like, super comfortable in the car. Just, like, she and Kiki are kind of on the same level, where they get queasy. The Dramamine and Bonine both are okay for dogs. The non-drowsy is supposedly a little better, but... I've used the drowsy formula too, but so you can med them, and I do with Kiki because it really does seem to make a difference. I had to when she was a baby when we took that long drive home. Oh my gosh, that first day with a sick puppy, ugh, a sick 8-week-old puppy is just not what you want in the car. It was harrowing, guys. It was harrowing. Oh, funky. Well, that's cool. That's cool that they, like, make special shoes and inserts to make you more comfortable. And I assume they increase circulation, Turgeon? That one a little bit more anchored in. Alright, so I've just brought my dark color back in just to accentuate some of the areas I missed, and I'll just touch up and I'll be okay. Yeah, oh yeah, no, it's too expensive for 6. Like, I can't even do the full subscription for 1. Oh, it is a good topper, but there are plenty of good toppers. So, I mean, I used to, all my dogs, my old Shilohs, dog father we had on Purina Pro Plan, and then I would just buy high quality canned to just give them a little bit of a topper. But you could just use Honest Kitchen as a topper too. A lot of people do, and it works real well. Like, it's a good brand. Oh no! Orf! But yeah, I've always wanted to kind of try the fresh cook thing, and I do have a guide to just cooking it up myself. But then you have to buy the vitamin mineral mixes as well, because you have to make sure your dog's getting good nutrition. So I was like, same thing with raw, right? So I just haven't quite gone there yet. But with one dog, I certainly could do that. And I talked to a lady who did it for her aging shepherd, and she just cooked it all up in the crock pot, really, and then added the supplements after it was done. I could probably manage to fit that into my schedule at some point. So maybe at some point Kiki will get handmade diet. Although then once I'd have to make super big batches and then freeze it all. Because I'm so slammed with everything I do as it is. And you can't not feed your dog, so gotta have it ready. Gotta make it a priority. So I'm using the side of my brush to kind of go over the top of this just to outline the above areas. And that will help you just see where everything is. And if you have little paint, very little paint on your brush, and you're using just the side of the brush, it will essentially leave the relief there. Better for sport, safer to walk. Good. Oh, yeah, for sure. Sounds good, Turgeon. Hopefully it will let you be more mobile. And enjoy some nice walks. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Looks pretty good. Alright, good enough. Good enough. That's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely better to walk. I hope the shoes work out. Yeah, Honest Kitchen is a topper. Yep, yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, having 4, like, I loved all of them, but having 4 dogs was too much for me. I've learned because of everything else I do. Like, every living thing I have to take care of puts like an extra stress weight on me. And of course myself is one of those living things that I have to take care of. So like it's Kiki and David and me. And now the wild birds are nice because I can just keep the feeders filled. But even that is that little extra weight of, oh, I need to make sure the birds have water. It's going to be really hot. You know? It's just like that little extra to-do thing on my list. I don't know why my brain works that way, where it like really, really feels the weight from having things depending on me, but it does. So having just one dog is nice. I had thought to keep one of Kiki's babies, but I don't know if I will now. It just depends. Oh no, Orf's trying to round out that little root, and I got extra dark stuff all around it. Yeah, I don't regret it, but yeah, everything is more complicated. Travel is like crazy. Like pretty much my ex was staying home whenever I had to travel and vice versa. Like taking a vacation together was not in the cards unless the dogs were coming with us. Or we could at least find a neighbor to, like, you know, take care of 2 of the dogs, and we bring 2 of the dogs with it. Yeah, it was just, no, I don't want to do it again. Yeah. Yeah, it does, SJ, yeah. Sorry about that. But you know what? At least you understand that, SJ. At least you're not just like, I'll just get this dog and it can just lump it all day while I'm gone. Like some people do. Poor dogs. I guess some dogs would do fine with that, but no dog that I've ever owned would be happy. But then I tend to have very human-focused breeds. Some dogs can handle it. But, I don't know. When I was at Reaper, we always lived like 5 minutes from work, so I could go home on lunch and let my dogs out and play with them and give them treats and go back to work. And then when there was just Kiri, I would just take her to work. Because Reaper was very dog friendly. I'm not going to breed her till she's 3 because I really believe that our breed in particular benefits from being a little bit more mature, like both physically and emotionally. Which would mean she was born in 2022, so that would mean 2025. You should meet her before you make that call, Kodiak. Maybe you'll meet her and you'll be like, oh my god, I don't want one of these dogs puppies. Yeah. But yeah, it'll be a while, so. And again, she has to pass her health testing. She's passed it all except for hips and elbows, but we do need to do those x-rays. There we go. Oh, working nights, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 12 hours is too much. I mean, most dogs can hold their bladder well or hold it for 8, but 12 is too much, you're right. And especially you wouldn't be able to have a puppy with that. That's why so many people got dogs during the pandemic. It's like they finally had time and they were always home. No, I never have 3. No, I would never have 3. I think 2 is my limit, but right now 1 might be my limit. And even then, like it puts such a limit on travel, right? We have to make sure we book our pet sitter enough time in advance. And the happy thing is that both sets of parents, both my parents and David's parents, just this past year have said that they will house sit for us and Kiki sit for us if we want to take a big trip. So it's like, all right, Europe might be on for next year. Yeah, many of them did, but not all of them. I mean, there are still pandemic dogs that still have their good home. I think a lot of publicity was made about the negative. I think that's what our media tends to do. Everybody remembers the negative. But I think a lot of those dogs still have great homes. Yeah, I would never have 3. I might not even have 2. It's just a lot to take care of. We'll see. If Kiki has her, if we do a litter with Kiki and I decide to do a second one and I use a smooth male, then I might be tempted to keep a smoothie puppy. Because I do miss, the plush is pretty and everything, but I really love the smooth coats. I love that shorter coat. I miss it. Out of our past 4 Shilohs, 3 were smooth coats. We only had the 1 plush. Everybody likes the plush because it looks beautiful, but I mean, I think the smooth looks beautiful too, so. Alrighty, so I think it's going to be the purple up top, green down below, and then white to fill in. I think is what we're going to be doing with this. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes out. I may have 1 litter and remember how much freaking work it is and just, like, say never again. Bridget would like me to have 2. I think because Bridget would like to keep 1. herself, but she has 4 dogs right now. It's just too much. Bridget, like me, has a lot on her plate and a lot to juggle. Oh, also, even though Twitch has not attacked us today, I did blow the money on a new computer. I went to the official Dell refurbished site and got pretty much a nice system. I think a step above this one for, I think, $500. With an adequate number of ports. So once that comes, it'll come probably right before ReaperCon, so I'll have to wait till after ReaperCon, and then I'll have to get it set up. Yeah, working from home is great. Yeah, travel is a challenge. I mean, 2 is good just because they can play with each other if they have similar energy levels and personalities. I really enjoyed keeping one of Kiri's puppies. Kiri loved to play with her puppies. She was always so happy when Astro would visit, which is the dog, she was a white Shiloh from first litter. And her owner would bring her over to play. And Kiri was just always so happy. She would just run to the gate when she heard Astro's name. And she was so happy when she finally got to keep one of her puppies. I think Kiki is probably going to guilt me into it, because Kiki would love to have a playmate nonstop. Like, that would be Kiki's, 100% ideal world right there. That new-ish computer. Refurbished computer smell. Yeah, it'll be good. And then we'll know, because then if we have trouble, we'll know it's Twitch. Because we will have replaced every other element in our environment. We'll have replaced everything else. There will be no other option but to blame Twitch at that point. I mean, and I don't mind it. I mean, it's bad timing. I just feel like expenses always hit at the same time. You know, the big stuff. I'm really kind of nervous about the whole, all the screening I'm going to be getting for my guts. Because, that's going to be diagnostic. It's not going to be 100% covered by insurance. Which means it's going to be money, and MRIs are expensive. So I'm, kind of gritting my teeth and closing my eyes and sending a wish skyward that it's not terrible. Yeah, it always comes together. Hopefully not burning electronic smell. Hopefully we get decent. There is a warranty on this one, so if it does give me the burning electronic smell, then it gets returned, and I get a replacement. But with our luck, it'll only start burning once we actually have it all set up and we're streaming with it. Because that's the way it be some days. Yeah, I know how that feels, SJ. So much. There's just so much. I just feel like I've just been dumping money down the drain. I mean, I have an emergency fund, and I have, a business fund, but I just kind of get nervous when they get below a certain level. There's a certain level of money that I like to have on hand, because I know how much surgeries cost, having had, 5 or 6 of them at this point. Even with the insurance coverage, my out-of-pocket was still $8,000 one year, even with pretty good insurance, and that just always makes me a little nervous. Oh no, wow. Yeah, your computer sounds like it had some issues. I'm sorry, SJ. Wow, that's a lot. I'm just getting a laptop, so there's little mucking about to do with it. If I have a good experience, then I might eventually replace my desktop as well. My desktop's also an older computer. But it runs the new Diablo. It runs Overwatch. It runs the things I like to play, so Alright, so this little thing is so thin. Like, it's gonna be so difficult to get this little strand. And I'm gonna err on the inside. Like, I want the lining on the outside for sure, but on the inside it's gonna be purple. So it's gonna be a darker purple. So I might be able to rely on that to edge it. Oh man, it's so thin. It's just so thin. It's so hard. Yeah, well, I do live with a tech nerd, so most of the time I do as he says. Although sometimes it surprises me, the holes in David's knowledge. Like, he really is, like, it's just weird sometimes. He's like, his job has never been hardware, but he's sometimes even better with hardware than he is with software. And then there's sometimes I'll ask him a software or just basic function question, and he'll just shrug at me. Most of the time I Google this stuff myself, but sometimes, you know, you're married to the tech guy, you just gotta ask that one. Okay, so I widened out that line a bit. That's gonna mean it mostly properly, yeah. That's gonna make it a little easier, but this line up above it is gonna be, this is just very fiddly. It would be much easier to just put a wash on the shield. Where's that guy who was on my screen, my stream a couple weeks ago, who asked, why don't you just use contrast paint? Sometimes I wish I could. Sometimes. Yeah, you learn what you need to know. It's true. David's knowledge is really specialized at this point, I think. Alright, yeah. See how thin it is? It totally wiped out that line. I'm very seriously considering just wiping out this little thin white line above it. It looks nicer if I keep it, but it's going to be such a pain. Adding a little more water just to see if I can not impact the coverage very much, but make it possible for me to outline that. I mean, it's a good speed paint tech thing. SJ. Like, if you're doing underpainting, like Zenith Prime, like that, you could just put a wash over the rest of it, you know, and everything would show through, right? So if you do the black and then the white spray over the top, and then you put contrast paint over it, you can get some really nice effects. That's not done with contrast. The paint on that one is not done with contrast, but I just showed you for the Zenith. We got a lot more paint on Orc over on Saturday. I will probably not be streaming this coming Saturday because I will be instead freaking out about loading the car to leave for the trip on Sunday. Alright, I am going to make this wider. But yeah, when these little tiny sculpted strands get so thin, it makes it very difficult, really difficult. And sometimes you just have to widen your lining to create an artificial border and then just put that white line in there. Yeah, I mean, it's good to experiment with stuff. You just never know when you're going to like something. I'm going to be using my my customized contrast paint for my Tyranids when I finally have time to get back to those. Man. Between the book and all the travel, like, just not. It's just like... My poor Tyranids. They're like, meep, meep. They're sitting over there on my bookshelf, meeping at me, sadly, with their little bug voices, because they want more paint on them. When my Tyranids are sad, they meep. When they're angry, they hiss. I reserve the right to make bug noises, any noises I want. The cuter, the better. There we go. Finally. Yes, poor sweet little Tyranids. All they want to do is get hugs. And food. Tasty food. All of us want tasty food. We can understand this. Yes, wet palettes are an adjustment. And depending on the wet palette, it can be, like some wet palettes, you're going to notice your paint going watery, depending on how you load it. And depends on the paper that you're using. It depends on so many different things. Alright, I'm going to try this and see. We're almost done. Ugh, it's taken the entire stream. Honestly, I don't use them 95% of the time, SJ. The one I do have is in the other room. And I got it, I think it's Excelsior. No. Let me go grab it. I think it's the Excelsior. I used to have a Masterson's one, but I hate the yellow sponge, so this is actually the Exemplar. So it's Game Envy, it's the Exemplar. It has a nice lid where you can prop open your painting reference, and it's got a cute little plastic palette, which I would never use, but if you want to just spot mix some washes or something, that lets you do it. And it clamps on really nice, and it's got an air hole so that I can keep. Like, if I don't use the air hole, my paint just goes to water overnight. It comes with paper, and I like the paper, but I've also used parchment on it. So that's I'm going to bring that one to ReaperCon. I often use wet pellets at cons. They're not they're not like my choice. Yeah, that's I got it in the ReaperCon swag. Like, they're not my choice of palette, but at cons, it's so much nicer because you just throw out the paper instead of having to clean a palette. So, at conventions, I often do use the wet palette. I mean, I spent the time to learn to use it decently. I just, like, it's not my preferred. It's not my preferred. Hi there, Kiki. You automated the auto petting impulse. Yeah, you activated the auto petting impulse. Hi. Hi. Just wanting pets, huh? Yeah. Who's my good girl? Is it you? Is it you? Are you my good girl? Yeah. Somebody's snuggling into my arm right now. Somebody's being really cute and sweet. Hey, it's cloudy out. Maybe it will stay cooler today. I hope so. You're a good dog, Kiki. All right, good girl. I gotta work. Mama's gotta work. Work. Oh, glasses. Yeah, the Game Envy is what I use too, Roger. But yeah, I like the white sponge because any other color of sponge I think just throws you off as far as the colors you're mixing. I will always prefer the palette because the palette lets me keep my paint at the same consistency for a half hour to an hour, depending on weather, temperature, humidity. And it just lets me dial in that consistency and just paint. So that I always know that I've got the right consistency when I touch the brush down for whatever I'm doing. And the wet palette makes it much harder to do that. You have to have a very good instinctual grasp of how your paint feels for the technique that you're trying to do. And that's why with beginners, I'll tell them they should definitely try both. And it's often valuable for beginning painters to pick up the well palette in order to learn paint consistency, and then to use the wet palette. Yeah, I whited that out. Oh yeah. That's what everybody uses. We use that at ReaperCon too. Yeah, paper plates, wet napkins, parchment, and Tupperware with, yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much the universal common wet palette. And it's easy, right? I mean, that way you don't have to, you still get a palette. It's super easy to refresh between classes. I mean, that's been very valuable. And having that at conventions has actually helped wet palettes to get more usage here in this side of the world. A lot of European painters use them. But they weren't as popular for a long time when I was starting painting. Yeah, these lines are just so thin, folks. So thin. So thin. Insane thin. Very, very thin. Alright, I'm going to try something. Where's my purple? Where's my purple, dang it? Violet red and... Okay. Where's my violet red? That is not violet red. This is violet red. Yeah, red grass, that's what David uses. Yeah, I don't like them because they're big. Usually I use it, like I would never, it's hard to use my wet palette at this desk because I don't have a lot of room because my paints keep encroaching on me, Richard, so I feel you there. I use it at my the hobby room desk because I usually keep the right side here clear and then I can put my palette over there. I think there are smaller sizes. There's got to be somebody making a mini wet palette. We can't be the only ones who want one. And Redgrass is a good brand. David prefers that one. I use the Game MV, but David likes his Redgrass one. So I'm going to, if you remember my red here, I was actually using a little bit of 6 purple in it too. The violet, this is violet red plus white, but I'm going to add just a little bit of sticks to make it that color that we're looking at on the back of the bow and the front here. Kind of a mulberry color, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to ReaperCon, even though it's going to be a bit of a juggle with Keekster around. So also for those wanting to meet Keekster, the Keekster will be available on Thursday and Sunday, and otherwise I'm handing her off to her uncle, my ex. There we go. A little more mulberry. Maybe a little bit more purple. I'm just going to actually use the sticks, purple first, to just block this in. It's a darker purple. It'll go over my lining. Make a solid band there. And then I can take the pink and go over that. Might need to use more white underneath. We'll see. I think I will. I'm going to make a really light pink. And I'll put the red over the top. I just want a little bit of that red, pink, violet thing up here. And that is coming out a bit. We'll see. Yeah, it's about the right color. It's just, you can see how hard it is to squeeze everything in between all this filigree. But yeah, I can see a lot of people going easy mode on this shield. Much easier mode than I'm doing. But I want it to look pretty, so I'm going to spend the time. That's the right color, though. So I think I'm going to make it a little stronger down here. Punch it up a little bit. Alright. At least we got some of that pinky purple in there. It's going to have a white backdrop. Everything that is white currently is going gold. The purple pink will go up at the top, like we've got touches of it here, and these will come up as well. We use that same color to highlight here and to bring up an accent color here and here. Then the bottom here is going to be green and yeah, tree gold, and then the rest of the backdrop white. Richard, my actual workspace is like here, but the rest of my desk has got all sorts of crap all over it. Yeah, I mean, I want the shield is really pretty. We don't usually paint shields that are this intricate, so I did want to do it like the way I would do it, like the way that Anne would do it if she wanted it to look really good in the end, and that means a lot of fiddly bits. I do not expect the rest of you to put this much fiddly into your stuff. Hopefully it won't be terrible outside when I take Kiki for her walk. It seems like it's breezy out, which would be nice. What do we got? I bet it's still upper 80s. Yeah, it's still 80. Oh, interesting. We have tiny bits of drizzle, apparently. That's got to be hurricane effect. We'd never get rain in the summer here. Like, ever. That's got to be a little tail end of hurricane effect. I don't see... I'm looking out at my... Yeah, I guess I can see little droplets. Really tiny, like drizzle for sure, like just spitting. It's just spitting. Alrighty. Got that, got all that. All of this. Conceal the lines. Mostly. The gold line on top of this is not functioning great. Not functioning as intended. But again, it's so narrow. I'm going to thin this down. Maybe next time we'll do the layering on the cape highlight. Oh, free the hamster. Alright, have fun, Crowley. If I thin the paint down a lot, I can sometimes get it to work better. I think I'm going to trim up this edge. Since I do want this part to be white, I'm actually going to block in the top right up against the rim of the shield. I can always recolor the shield, because I haven't done anything. But I want this top area to look right and to be tight. So I'm going to put in my white highlight up here, because the backdrop of the shield will be generally white. Started out with that bluish gray, but alright. Now, the top actually is looking okay. Yeah, red grass certainly will impact your wallet if you go there. We should have warned you. We should have warned you. Yeah, I got tempted by one of the Big Child busts that was on sale over the weekend, and I made myself say no. Because, again, I'm hemorrhaging money everywhere. When I try to fix it, I screw it up. Ah, it's 11. How nice. It's almost time to go and trot about. Maybe it'll rain on us. That would be kind of pleasant, actually. There's a small chance of drizzle over this coming hour. Oh yeah, they have good snippers? That's good. I'm always up for a good pair of side cutters. It seems like we never have a pair when we need it. Except for the super expensive Games Workshop pair that I bought for David. That we carefully preserve and only use for cutting Games Workshop sprues. Touch up, touch up, touch up until I get it to look exactly the way I want it. Yeah, you don't need a super fancy light. You just need a light that's going to give you decent daylight colored. You know, not golden, not too golden. You can go blue like an OttLite type light, or you can go, I always use daylight, which is the middle. I find that blue, let's see, where's my blue? Let me see. It isn't impacting it's impacting it a little bit. But I find that, yeah, so you can see the background warm up more than anything. I find that blue light impacts the color for me, visually, so... Oh, the God hand clippers, oh yeah. I needed a Christmas present for David that he wouldn't buy himself, but that he would love Hyper Bunny, so that is why I bought the snippers. The terribly overpriced side cutters, as I have put them before. And honestly, it was the best Christmas present I think I've gotten him for a while. He was so happy. And they are, like, super micro awesome, so we've been happy. I mean, are they worth $50? Probably not. Do I think too much about it because it was a David Christmas present? Nah, I don't think too much about it. We bought it. We better not break them, because I don't know that I would be able to stomach that amount for clippers a second time. But as a Christmas present, it was fine. It was the thing he needed that he never remembered to buy himself, which is the only way to shop for David for Christmas. There we go. Okay, so I finally have clear lines up there. Oh, lordy sakes alive. All right, I won't be able to fill in all the gold. I wanted to fill in the gold today. But it's already 4 after. So I have 5 minutes, maybe. Do we have a Rhonda today? Is it Rhonda Day? I can never remember. You are very late because we were about to end. We have like 5 minutes. Ah, Ren Fair. Nice. I miss my Ren Fair. Yeah. Rhonda will not be on today. All right. It's good to know. Well, she's probably got ReaperCon prep too. Everybody's prepping for the con. We are in that world. It is that time. Yeah, like sometimes worry about those branded Kalinskis from non-art companies. They're usually just buying them from an art company and rebranding them. And you never know, because you don't know who they're buying them from. You never know the grade. Whereas, you know what you're getting with a Winsor Newton Series 7 or a Da Vinci Maestro or a Raphael, but you don't know what company any of these other companies are going with, right? The Game MV. I have the Game MV Kalinskis because they were super on sale at one of the shows. I think it was Adepticon. And they were so super on sale that I decided to give them a try. And they're all right, but they're not... oh, this is not dark enough. I should have used another color. They're all right, but they are not, like, as good as my Da Vinci. Oh, the panic load. Yeah, what list you need to make, right? Yep. Yeah. Right. They went up during the pandemic. They also have gone up because there was some regulation in the US about them. Department of Fish and Wildlife being weird. So now there's extra hoops that the Kolinsky companies need to use to jump through to import. Some companies are choosing to jump through them and some are not. But those two things have made prices go up. Plus, you've got that whole Russian, war in the Ukraine thing, and Kolinsky sable is a Russian product, I think. I don't know if other companies, maybe Poland? I don't know who else has those type of animals and produces the hair. But there could be supply issues because of the unrest in general. So all of that stuff would mean prices going up. It shouldn't be $100 a brush. When I last bought them, I used to be able to get them off of Dick Blick between $10 and $15. Now I'm paying between $15 and $20. I always order online. Yeah, I tend to, when I see the brushes that I like for sale at cons, I just tend to buy them. That way I've got a back stock in case of things like this. Alright, so that was rich leather, and it comes off very golden, you can see. It's a really, really bright gold. But this guy is our more muted guy, remember? So his gold is a little bit more muted than that. So essentially I'm switching. You can see the color difference. So when you want a really vibrant yellow gold, use the rich leather. But the NMM Gold Shadow is a good starting point if you want a more muted gold, and that's where I'm going. So it's still going to be a dark gold color, but you can see it's not nearly as bright. Oh, okay, yeah. Right, yeah, if you're in Australia or you're in another part of the world where prices are really high or different than us. Because I'm in the US, obviously, so. And I know when I go to set up my book prices for Australia, I'm always aghast at how many dollars I have to put them at. So some places definitely have even Canada. I have to remember that's local currency stuff. Yeah. Yay. Little curly cues. So yeah, so we're going to be going over, and you can see that the NMM Gold Shadow is much darker. It's not quite as yellowy orangey. It's going to make a nice dark gold next to this white that we're going to bring the rest of this up to. And then again, yeah, I'll put some green down here so that we've got the lighter green on the bottom and the mulberry color on the top so we can repeat it around the model, and everything should work together. The shield is going to be bright, but then the hair is also bright, and the sword is going to be, have a lot of white in it as well. So then we've got a triangle of that white on the back, and we have more of because we've got all this off-white cloth, we have a lot more on the front to bring the eye around the piece, so we don't need that white shield there. But I think this is going to look just fine. Yeah, except transatlantic postage. Yeah, exactly, Richard. Yeah, I mean, the Reaper brushes are decent. I mean, I used them for years. When I was staff painting at Reaper, that was the 0/5 and 0/10. Mostly 0/5 was my workhorse brush. That's why we're always out of them, is because they're decent. If they sucked, we wouldn't have these supply issues. But yeah, the Reaper's a solid brush. Solid brush. I wouldn't put it in the category as the Da Vinci, but it's a very, very serviceable brush, especially if you're just looking for a slightly less expensive Kolinsky to start out with. It still has a great tip and performs well over time. It would say, hi, Papa. Hi, Papa. I would say it's like the sports, it's like a really souped up Civic of Kolinskys versus the Lamborghini of Kolinskys. Hey, Kiki. Are you ready for your walks? Is it walk time? Kiki, is it walk time? She's like, I'm walking over here. Anyway, there's a Keeks. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll pop it there. This guy's going to take a while. I can tell. Tomorrow... Oh, I should show you. Actually, we're closer to working on a base for the Mouseling because David was cutting a piece off of his plinth for his Taylor Swift devotee model, And he ended up with a cute little tiny plinth of a beautiful burl. We've got this lovely section of burl that we've got. So essentially, tiny plinth is the right size for the mouseling. So essentially what we build out, we have enough room to build out a base for him and put him up a little bit. So tiny plinth. So I have tiny plinth, and tiny plinth will be our mouseling base. And then we'll build the base on top of that. So now that I have a tiny plinth, thanks to my wonderful husband, we will be able to work on the mouseling. I probably won't do it tomorrow. I still need to think a lot about what I want to do precisely. So we're probably back to mermaid tomorrow. We were highlighting her skin tone and getting her, yeah, that's where we were. We were highlighting the skin for sure. I kind of want to give her, like, purple hair or something. So, like, I really like her face, the way that it's turning out. And the skin is turning out. But, yeah, with all the purples in her skin, like, giving her purple hair would be really fun. So I'm kind of thinking about that. I think it would be fun. It would be super cool. And I don't think we've done purple hair before. Oh, I see a rough spot where I really need to green on the back of this. But other than that, yeah, I think so. Hi, Kiki. Do you want to come up and say goodbye to the stream? Here. Kiki. Platform. Yay! Oh no, we slid. I'm sorry. She's like, oh, nose. Oh, nose, I slid, Mama. Good girl. Yay! There's a goodbye Kiki for you all. Yeah. And special guest star Kiki. Always a special guest star. Hey, good girl. Yay! Yeah, I'm sorry that the chair, like, betrayed you there, bub. Hold on, Bubs. I gotta get that. That card is mine. It's not for you to eat. No, it's not. I know. I need it. Alright, guys. Oof. I'm gonna go take my silly dog for a walk and see if it's actually raining out. Looks like maybe. That'll be fun. Yes, indeed. And yeah, and then I got a lot to do today. So I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great one, and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.